Good evening, friends. Today I'm going to teach you all chemistry of class 10, and the chapter is chemical reaction and equation part 2. Here we goes. Today we are going to learn types of chemical reaction. So let's start. What all are the types of chemical reaction? So basically, chemical reaction have 5 different types, and let's study them one by one. What are they? First, combination reaction. Next, you see decomposition reaction. And third, you see displacement reaction. Fourth, double displacement reaction. And last, oxidation and reduction. These are the 5 different types of chemical reaction. Next, we are going to discuss it one by one. Let's see at first combination reaction. So I just wrote here combination reaction. It is the reaction where two or more reactants combine to form a single product. You see here where two or more reactant. As you all know, in chemical reaction we have reactant and product. So when the reactant, so this is reactant, C plus O2 is reactant and CO2 is the product. So here you see burning of coil. When you burn carbon with oxygen or in air, it forms carbon dioxide. Or next example you see formation of water. Hydrogen, when we burn with oxygen, then it forms H2O, that is water. Next you see is decomposition reaction. So what is decomposition reaction? We see here it is a reaction where single reactant breaks and split into two or more substances. You see here it's very important, just it is the single reaction break and it becomes two or more substances. You see here just I wrote ferrous sulfate 2FeSO4. Example, when it breaks or when we heat it, it is a solid particle basically, this ferrous sulfate. So when we heat it, what it comes? Ferric oxide. This is ferric oxide. You see here Fe2O3 plus SO4 plus SO3. So you see here this this ferrous sulfate is a solid. So when you heat, what happens? It is a solid. Ferric oxide or iron oxide also you can say it is a solid, and what comes out? The gas particles comes out. Decomposition reaction. Basically decomposition reaction is of 3 different types. Okay, decomposition reaction is divided into 3 different types. Let's see them one by one. So thermal reaction. First is thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, so what is thermal decomposition? We know that thermal is carried out by heat. So when decomposition of reaction carried out by heat is known as thermal decomposition reaction. So here the example, you see here the example CaCO3, calcium carbonate. So it is a solid particle. When we heat calcium carbonate, what it's come out? CaO, that is calcium oxide plus CO2, that is a gas particle, carbon dioxide. So you see, this is only one element. So when we heat this, so it comes into what will the product? Two products. Okay, so next you see electro decomposition reaction. So what is electro decomposition reaction? Electro defines electricity. So it is the reaction carried out by what? It is carried out by electricity. Here I wrote it. So let's see the example. H2O. You see here it's very easy. H2O is a liquid. Okay. So when the electricity, sorry, when the electricity is, or when the current is passed, so what happens? H2 is the gas plus O2 is a gas. Hydrogen plus oxygen, both are gas. It's come out. So the third and the last of decomposition reaction is photolysis decomposition. So it is photolysis decomposition. Here photolysis means, you just remember as photosynthesis, not photosynthesis exactly. So you can remember by photolysis. So it is the reaction which is carried out with the help of sunlight. You see here, it's the reaction carried out by sunlight. And the example, AgCl. AgCl, that means silver chloride, and it is a solid particle, AgCl, silver chloride. So when we keep this in sunlight, okay, when we keep silver chloride in sunlight, then Ag, that is solid particle and it is silver, it becomes separate, and solid particle again Cl2, that is chlorine, it becomes separate. So both the particle will become separate. In this decomposition, you see, when these lamps, when we heat or when we pass electricity or when we give with the help of sunlight, there will be two or more than two different particles are formed. Okay, next types of uh, next we see types of chemical reaction. Till now we have seen two different types. So third is displacement reaction. So in displacement reaction, you see, what is displacement reaction? More reactive element displace less reactive element from its own solution. I think you got it in class 7 plus 8 also, and 9 also. More displacement object, or more displacement, what it gets? Less, displaces less reactive element from its solution. Here you see, I just gave an example. Fe, that is an iron and solid particle, plus copper sulfate, CaSO4 is a copper sulfate. So what it forms, what will the react, what will the, sorry, this is the reactant and this is the product. So what will the product? FaSO4. You see here, just Ag, here CaSO4 is there. Okay, CaSO4, this is copper sulfate. Here when we do the process, so copper will, sorry, this is copper, okay, Cu, this. So iron sulfate it comes, and the copper will become separate. So next we see double displacement reaction. In the double displacement reaction, you see, what is double displacement? When two compounds react and the two reactant switch place, positive ion plus negative ion. Where two compounds react and two reactants switch place, that means positive will become negative and negative will become positive. So this is the means of switch place. Here example you see, this is sodium. When sodium sulfate, and this is sodium Na2SO4 is sodium sulfate. So and this is barium chloride. So when sodium sulfate and barium chloride, we do the reaction, will form what? Barium sulfate and sodium chloride. You see, barium sulfate, okay, before it was sodium sulfate, but afterwards what it came in the product? Next, last but not the least, we'll see oxidation and reduction. So what is oxidation and reduction? You see, if any substance gain oxygen during a reaction is called oxidation. Getting oxygen is known as oxidation and losing oxygen is known as reduction. So I gave an example here. You just have a look. Next, very important, there is a redox reaction. So you see, basically what is redox reaction? So redox reaction means any chemical reaction where there is both reduction and what? Oxidation. If in a chemical reaction there is oxidation plus reduction is known as redox reaction. You see in this chemical reaction there is both oxidation and reduction. That's why we know it as a redox reaction. Okay, thank you guys. Hope you all understood very nicely of this chapter. Thank you.